Do you care about your friends? You really care? Have you got any friends? Do you want any friends? And if you got any friends, you want to stick around or do you want them to like clear off? Maybe you want to clear off from this video right now after hearing that. Or maybe I want to stick around to see how you can kind of like do things to like, keep those friends close and maybe generate some more that are actually on your level, aligning with you. If that's the case, stick around and let's find out. And thank you for stepping into my home. This is my home. This is my studio. No fancy editing, just me talking to you, giving my little spiel on what I see going on in the world. And you're welcome to agree or disagree. And for those who have stayed, let's really get into it. So as we start with always, I start with a tiny haiku, very tiny poem, and we'll break it down. Take a few moments to thank those wonderful souls who hold you so dear. And today we're going to look at 5 different things that we can do to really kind of like bring it all closer for us. So those friends stay in our hearts and we can like, improve on those relationships, develop our own way, and really kind of like get into that feeling of like, hey, this feels good. So take a few moments. I think that's important each day that we do take a few moments just to see where we are energetically, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Just think like, where am I right now? Am I in a good space, in a bad space? And this doesn't necessarily do with friends, but more yourself. Check in with yourself. Have the time just to see how your life is unfolding before you, how you'd like to develop it. What changes can you make? Or you think, actually, I don't need to tweak too much. I'll just keep on going on and allowing that space to broaden, to widen, and basically allowing yourself to breathe, not being confined by the constraints of everyday life. And then to thank those wonderful souls. Now, obviously, we will thank our friends. You know, think of those people in your life and kind of like invite that energy forward. But I'm also going to stand it on its head a little bit when I say to you, what about those people that maybe you haven't gravitated towards? Maybe they've kind of like you think, oh God, I'd rather stick my head in that oven than talk to these individuals. But they are also just as wonderful to you as those friends are. Now, that may sound a strange thing for me to say, but they help you align to the path you're meant to be on. Those particular energies just don't resonate with you, but you're not going to know that until you interact with them. Whoa, no, 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 I'm repulsed from that energy, but I'm attracted to this energy. You bring those energies closer, take them into your heart, don't you? But yet the other ones you've repelled. But you do so without kind of like animosity or anger or hatred, but instead just thinking, it's like going to a shop, isn't it? And maybe you've got a cup of coffee and a cup of tea. For me, when I drink coffee, I'm like, oh God, that's a little bit awful. But when I drink the tea, hey, that's good. For me, I enjoy that. But if I had drunk that coffee, I wouldn't have known I can't stand coffee. And it's a bit like those people you meet in life. It's like, so don't kind of like think like, oh, I don't like that person. They just don't resonate you on your level, for want of a better word. You kind of like moved forward. And as we go forward, we're going to go through those 5 points. I want to say number 3 is a real good one, really good one. So definitely stick around for that. And finally, we come to who you hold so dear. So you've got your friends, and it's important that you kind of almost like put your arms around them and think, hey, you're in my tribe. You're, even though you might not necessarily be related to them, not like they're not family as such, they are still very important to you. And it's the old saying, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family, can you? And so it's your choice. You've actually chosen to have them in your life, and they've chosen you. So it's important that we kind of like just show that sort of like, that love coming from there. to those who are around you. And of course, some of those friends step inside even closer to you, and they may well become your partners, your loved ones. And they're the ones we really love, don't we? We all obviously love everyone, but they're the ones that enter your heart space. They get to know you. They really get to know what you're all about, and you get to know what they're all about. And in that beautiful symbiotic union, it is literally two become one. And that is a very, very special thing. So I'd like you to all right now to send some love to those, to your special one. And I'm doing that right now. I'm sending some love to my special one. And it's just something we can all do. Just a little thing really does make a difference. It really does. If you send those lovely thoughts out there, they will kind of like get to where they're going. So let's get into the 5 points, shall we? But before I go on, if you enjoy these little haikus and whatnots, do check out on my posts, on the community post. There's loads of little like haikus there. Some people don't even know they're there, but just check out through those little spaces there. They're quite nice little things just to check on. And what I'm also doing, I've got like a little free little ebooklet that it's just got one little section of a nice little graphic kind of like e-booklet for you to have a look at and just make you think. If you want to get thinking and have a look at that, drop in below, just type bookie, Bookie. Or did I say Bookie? Did I say triple boo there? Anyway, I'll get the gist. I'll know that you would like that. And just follow, I'll send you a link. You follow that link, fill in a very simple form, and then I can furnish you with this booklet. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's just a nice thing that I believe in sharing. And over time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build that up into like a proper, nice biggie booklet that you can purchase on there in time. I'm not there yet, but that's something I'm looking forward to do. It's this channel, this beautiful family develop. So that's another thing I want to say to every one of you that's subscribed or watching this right now and liking what I'm saying. I consider you as a friend. You've stepped into my home, and I can't give you a cup of tea, but I can certainly send you loads of good vibes. So right now, feel those good vibes coming right at you. I'm a Reiki master. Not that I like to pontificate too much on that, where people get hung up on that sort of stuff. But for me, just know I'm sending some beautiful, loving, healing, golden energy right at you right now. That comes from you by thought. So I'd be interested to see any of you actually felt that. But it's there for you. Now, so the first point I'd like to get across is with our friends, we'll always come at a point where they may reach out to you. And so what I'm saying to you, be ready. Be ready to help. And how much levels of help, it's up to you. It really is. Sometimes it's very difficult to sort of like go out on the limb as such, but you can be there for someone, even if it's just to listen to, even if it's just to, don't underestimate the power of just listening. So someone can almost like vent off. Now, it's important that you don't take that energy on. So if someone does vent off, imagine there's like a little bit of space between you and that person. So when they're offload, it's almost like you just divert that energy into literally like almost like a dustbin. So you don't take it on, because sometimes when people do vent off, if we're not prepared, we don't put a barrier up, that stuff will stick to you. It's like, see, I'm doing energy healing. I see it where I think, God blimey, what's all this energy? Oh, it's not yours. So it's important that you kind of like do have a little bit of a barrier, just to make it your intent. So I'm not taking your energy on, but I'm willing to listen. I can, and then maybe because when they talk to you, two heads are better than one, aren't they? Because when they're asking you to help, you can come up with some ideas that maybe they haven't thought of. So that's the first thing you can do, is just be ready to help that person. Give them a hand up, lift up, boost their energy, boost their kind of morale, really kind of like make them feel good about themselves. Because when we're in the dumps, our energy goes down. And that's obviously on that level. There's physical things they might be moving. They might say, "Oh, Gary, you help us move, mate." And if I've got time, I'll go down there and help out. And it's like those sort of things we can do. It's like the practical things, but sometimes it's being a good listener. There are so many different ways we can help, and we feel good about it, don't we? You know, when you do someone a good turn, how does it make you feel inside? There's that good kind of like warm feeling that comes. So it's actually doing yourself a favor when that does that. Now, the second thing, and this can happen to some of us, we may have all the problems of, oh, I've got a soldier on, I don't need anybody's help. I'm just going to do it all myself. Sodom, you know, it's like that. And so this is kind of spinning a little bit. So the second thing is be ready to receive help yourself. You know, your friends won't mind at all. You know, they won't mind at all because there's I've seen this so many times. People are always willing to help, but when they're in these situations where it's hard going, no, no, don't know. What do I need you for? Especially if you're someone who is very kind of like strong-minded. You think I can deal with this all myself, and yeah, you probably can. But if help's there, take it. It's what's giving you the benefit, remember, ultimately, we are all connected anyway. So when you're asking a friend for help, you're really just asking yourself. So it's no different. But if we kind of like get into that mindset where we're quite dog-minded and say, no, I am just going to do my thing. I'm going to persevere. I'm not going to take any help at all. I'm going to do it 100% my way or no way. It's a bit limited vision. It's limited thinking. So as the unity consciousness gets bigger, step away from that and be ready to receive help. Remember, you don't necessarily have to receive it because what's that? Sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Forgive the old saying, but sometimes people offer you help and think, maybe that's not quite the help I want. So sometimes you will say no, but at least be ready to receive. Be ready to receive because as much as we like to give, we like to receive. You know, think of that number 8 symbol, the infinity symbol. As it goes and gives, it comes back. So this is what we're looking for. That nice, beautiful, symbiotic flow of life coming to and fro. Bear that in mind as we go forward. Now, the third one is one of my favourite ones. This is the big one. I probably have already covered it. Show gratitude. Express gratitude for those wonderful friends in your life. And as you're watching this right now, think of 3 friends. You can do this for family as well, obviously. 3 friends that you really appreciate. And just literally put your hands on your heart, follow my lead, and just think of number 1. I'm not going to say the names out loud, but I would say number 1. Send those beautiful, loving thoughts to them. Number 2. Send those beautiful, loving thoughts to them. And think of one other. Send those beautiful, loving thoughts and just say, I am so grateful that you are part of my life and I hope you will be for many, many years yet. As we send those thoughts out there, they will go there, they will be received. Trust me on that one. It's a little bit of faith we have to have here. Those who are work energetically will know this works. If you're not, everything sounds a bit mumbo jumbo to me. Trust me, I was one of them people once. Totally get where you're coming from. Just allow it. Humour yourself. Humour your own indulgence. At the end of the day, you're not doing any harm, are you? So that can't be a bad thing. So just allow those thoughts to go out there. And it just gives you that real kind of sense of appreciation to have those people in your life. And it's like reaffirming that beautiful, lovely bond. We're not chained to these people as such, but we're just coming from a place of pure love. And those friends will receive that love and they will send it back to you, whether they're aware of it or not, because it's just there. It's just a lovely energy we can tap into. It's a simple, really easy practice. Now, number 4, now this is a good one, and I've been guilty of this, and I'm sure some of you have as well. You know, you got your circle of friends, and then the phone goes on, or you look at the messenger, oh God, I've got another message off this place. Don't do that. If they're friends, why are you sighing? So avoid sighing. So, because straight away the energy deflates. So now the best way of doing it, if they are calling you at a time when you're not prepared, just say something like this. Say, look, I'm really busy at the moment, but just give me a little while and I'll get back to you. So you're not dismissing them. You're not kind of like dismissing them as such, but you are just preparing yourself just to get yourself ready kind of thing. Because sometimes we do need that, especially if we are in the midst of doing something. That's when it's worse. Imagine you're I don't know. Let's imagine you're typing out a great big letter or something, and you get ping and a message. You think, oh, flipping heck, you bloody messed up my flow. No, let's not do that. Because straight away it kind of like can have a little ripple effect to that person at the other end and think, oh, well, I don't know why, I feel a bit funny. What have I done wrong? You know, because they have no idea that you're typing a letter, if they, as far as they're concerned, they're just looking for a chat or something. So just be aware of that, because sometimes we can sigh and we can sort of like be, and I know I've done it, and I'll be honest with you, afterwards I thought, Gary, why did you do that? That wasn't very nice, was it? So just be aware that we have those moments. So don't sigh. You know, things go on, and it's like you're watching this video. I'll just drop that on the floor, and you feel like, oh, for God's sake, what's he doing? It's all unedited. It's all on the fly. This is how I roll, and that's how life should be. It should be, and that's how things happen in our life. So when people do come in for your attention, see that as a gift. They're actually cherishing your time. They appreciating you. So it's important we remember that. Because if we say, oh, God, for flipping on Jim's messaging me, what a flipping on Jim messaging me now for? You know, instead of that, say, oh, brilliant, Jim wants to chat. I'll see what I can do. See, we can have a chat with him in a little while. Completely different energy, isn't it? And that is where we are looking for that a liftment, that kind of like sort of yes feeling rather than one's higher, one's lower. Well, let's try and get to the high vibe. And we come to the last point that I'd like to make, and try, and this is what I love, laugh. Get that laughter, lots of smiling, lots of what I call the fizzy energy, that the kind of like sort of like the stuff of life. Now, of course, it's relevant if obviously if there's a person going through a trial or a trauma or whatever, that's a bit different, obviously. Well, we're not, you know, that's where we use our common sense, for want of a better word. But there are most of the time, you're looking to get that little bit of laughter going, a little bit of mirth, a little bit of joy, that kind of things that just make you feel good. Let's burst into that when you talk with your friends. And I'm not talking about cracking jokes, you know, you might want to, but it's more about the fact that as you're in a good vibe, the laughter's going to flow, the smiles are going to flow, and you're thinking, yeah, this is why I resonate with you. This is why we are kind of like connected. We're coming together, a bit like this whole thing up here. So imagine that as all your circle of friends, and I'm sure it'll be a lot bigger than that. That's just an example, and kind of like interact with them, because I'm sure, like on social media, we've already got. I mean, I look at mine, and I've got about, I think it's over 1,000 friends. But honestly, when I knuckled down, that number's probably really only about 10 to 15 of people that I interact with. And I'm sure when we look at some of those things, that may be a similar situation. And some of you thinking, oh, so why do we, Gary, like lose friends over the years? And that is something I'd like to briefly address before we come to the end. As we move on through our lives, we evolve. We move energetically. We move physically. We change. I mean, flipping hell, 30 odd years ago, I didn't look like this. You know, I look at the mirror now and, oh my God, who's that? Run to the hills. But on a more serious note, we change. We do change. There are aspects of us that are constant, sort of like our energetic footprint, if you like, or blueprint. But there's a lot of things as we learn and we evolve, we move forward. And when I think back to 20, 30 years ago, there's a lot of people I'm just not in touch with anymore. They've moved on. I probably wouldn't even recognize them. But at the time, I was friends with them, whether work colleagues or what. But that's fine. They resonated then. And they was just as valuable as maybe you guys are to me now, and to those people you're associated with. But as we move on, we kind of stretch away. I mean, you go back to your school days, and yeah, you might bump into them on Facebook, but it's rare that they stay with you for your whole life, because people move, we move on, and that's natural. It's a natural process, the natural flow of life. And So don't think like, oh, why don't we break up? Don't think like that. Think to yourself like, well, I was part of their life for a while, and we taught each other a lot, but we've moved on now. And that's perfectly natural. And they've got their own new family of friends and cycles because life changes all the time. There's cycles of life that we go through. And it's the same with our friendships and relationships sometimes as well. We move on. Just send them love. Don't have any animosity or anger or anything like that. That doesn't serve you. And just move forward. But that's kind of like how friendships evolve as we evolve. We evolve. And I've certainly moved on a lot. But I can tell you now, sort of like 10 years ago or so, I was, or more like 11 now, it's scary. I was training hard at karate. I was training, but I went on this whole spiritual path. And to be honest with you, it's rare that I hear from those people. I certainly don't feel animosity towards them. I actually have a lot of respect and love for them. But we move on. We move forward. And that's life. It really is. And that's what can happen to all of us. So there we are. That's pretty much a wrap. But if you're still here, that means you're in that special club. All the others have gone. They've got what they wanted. That's fine. And perfectly well. But for the special club, I'd just like to prove you're still here and just put "I'll be your friend." Wasn't it a Jungle Book or something? I'll be your friend. And put that in the comments, just as so I know that you are dedicated. You are what we call a trooper, hardcore. I salute you. So if you put "I'll be your friend," I'll respond with "I salute you." There we go. That's just a little bit of fun. But thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate you coming by, and I'll catch you at the next one. What will that be? I don't know. I'll be your friend. Take care.